What's up, boys? We're back with some more of the God of Weapons DLC. Today we're going to be trying out a full tower defense Artificer, so they gain armor projectile power for each automaton within 100 range, 1% cooldown reduction for each 10 projectile power, and then you start with an extra pocket mortar. None of the starting weapons are super important, so we'll just take the automatic crossbow to help us break barrels and stuff. And then in here we have this one that works with projectile power. I don't think summon duration is actually that good. So the summoning quantity thing might actually be better, but this fits the build, so we'll try it out at least. Give it a fair shot. And then with these pedestals, you can actually spend some of the meta currency to heavily buff up weapons for just this one run. So we're going to be stacking turrets. It looks like they only appear at tier 2. So it'll take a bit before we see them too much. So it gets more expensive, and the bonus you get gets lower for each point. So going past 2 or 3 probably doesn't do a ton, but we'll toss a 2 on each for our main weapon. And then we'll also grab the galvanizing coil as a support weapon, and we'll toss a 1 each onto that one. Make that a bit stronger as well. That will buff up our other summons with some attack speed whenever they're in the AoE of its attack. So I think the circle is the range where you get the stats from having nearby automatons. So it does hit a pretty good area. And I think the summons are actually purely limited by the summon quantity on each item. So eventually duration and quantity, or duration and cooldown reduction don't really end up doing a whole lot, it feels like. So summon quantity 1, duration 14, 12-second cooldown. I've had stuff that's like a 1-second cooldown and a 20-second duration, and you still only seem to go up to the quantity limit. So that seems to be the main factor for that. Let's go ahead and banish some weapons that I would never use here. And I actually do like having some shields for survivability. That pairs nicely with the armor bonus you get from there that will cause them to block more damage. So we got a coil there, banish that, and we actually could use some pocket mortars. I think that adjacent weapons and summons receive plus 5% thing is bugged. It didn't have any noticeable impacts the one time I tried to use those, but the area of the pocket mortars does go up with your projectile power, so they can get a pretty big area with that. Can we do it in a way where we can use the coil as well? That's a 2x3, so that's fine. So we'll probably have to wait a bit to start seeing some of the scorpion turrets, but for now we can just stack a few of the low tier constructs and have those carry us. And the purple crossbow we start with as well. Pocket mortar, I could probably fit that in, but I don't. Oh wait, that's a purifier launcher actually. Those actually are pretty cool. They launch burning oil, but they take up a ton of space, and I don't think we're really going to use them here. Ooh, more barrels, like getting those early on. There's a pocket mortar, but well, we could lock that, take it in the next one, I guess. Gems. Range of summoned units by 5. I'm not sure if that really helps either of these. They kind of just do an area attack. So now we've got little lasers coming down as well, and those will buff any of our units that are in the area, as well as damaging enemies. So we got another coil. Those take 2 to combine, so that's not too bad. Oh, 3. Didn't that say 2 there? I don't know, I'm so tired, man. We can get the pocket mortar as well, although we kind of need to find one of those to combine them now. Another pocket mortar. Ooh, more barrels. Well, we kind of need the space, don't we? If I can't find the third one for that. Well, there we go. See how much that costs. 72. We can get some floor duration and luck that'll help us find higher rarity stuff, which will help with the turrets, and then also having the floor last longer will let us farm more XP and resources each time. So I want another of those. We do want to eventually get high rarity to improve the buffing effect on them, which you can't actually see with the gem socketed in there. But I think the red ones go up to 80% attack speed, and those are 20%. So pretty big increase on that. I wouldn't mind another shield for survivability as well later on. Some units explode upon death, dealing 200% of their damage. Which of those are more likely to die? Probably the lowest rarity one. Oh yeah, if your summons are actually getting killed by enemies, then all of those stats will help out duration, cooldown, life. But you usually seem to get to a point where you just kill stuff as soon as it spawns, so that doesn't really seem to become an issue. So yeah, those stats just overall don't really seem to do a ton even on full summoner builds. The one thing is that maybe if you added in summoning stuff as utility to a non-summoner build where you have less overall summoner stats, then they might be relevant. Like if you just add the coils onto any standard non-summoner build for the attack speed bonus, I could see it being helpful there. More barrels would be good. Then our other shields. Did I use all the banishes? Yeah. So we're getting a few blues now. More duration. Could grab another shield. I guess that's fine. A coil, but we would need a second one on top of that. I guess we could lock it. See if we can find one. Huh, I wonder if the adjacent 10% chance of fire identical projectiles would work on the scorpion turrets once we get those. That actually could be pretty interesting if it does. Then let's just go on since we're down 1 slot anyways. Summon attacks area of effect for every 5 summoned units, up to 60%. Oh, that's pretty cool. We'll definitely have that on the turrets to make it easier to buff and damage stuff with those. So we can put that down there and then hope we find another of those. I do like pocket watches. Attack speed is really fun. They give a good mix of that and crit chance. Anvil, I don't think that's super helpful here. You can't use that on purely summoning weapons, although you can use it on hybrid weapons like the shotgun and the scythe and the blade that summon stuff on kill. But I don't think that's going to be great here. Maybe if we go into the cross tornadoes eventually, but certainly doesn't help us right now. Blocks 5 hits? I don't think so. We could grab another barrel thing to help out the early game. Those are decent, but we're a bit limited on space right now. Probably not another barrel. Those give only 3 summon power, which is the main stat we're interested in, and they kind of take a lot of space. I don't think we really need vitality that much. Another coil, pretty hard to use right now. I think we're not going to lock that. Do one more and then move on. 2% quantity up to 10 times, so 20%. That is unlikely to do anything here until we reach like a certain breakpoint on them, I think. Move speed and attack speed. We could probably toss that onto the coil. I think that would be pretty good there. Eventually I'll sell the crossbow, but having an early purple weapon is pretty helpful. And we'll just have full summoning stuff. We can use enemy amount to like farm more gold and XP, but without any stats that stack off of that, so we don't get quite as much out of it. I don't think we need that. Vitality, lifesteal, it's not terrible. I don't think we're gonna take it though. Ooh, extra space. We can get more barrels. Can I easily fit that in somewhere? I do have a decent amount of rolling here. We could probably hit a purple with that. Another anvil. So the turrets have infinite piercing and these are an AoE, so I don't think we really need that. Projectile power crit chance is okay, but I don't think so. Range isn't great either. Ooh, our first turret. Okay, nice. So we'll probably want that to touch the cog if possible. How do I flip that around to do that? I think that works. Yeah, there we go. So these have 600 range and infinite piercing, so that kind of limits some of the stats that we need over there. Mainly just attack speed, crits, and range power. Uses 150% summon power and 100% range power. And it is a projectile, right? It doesn't have a projectile count, so I'm not sure exactly what those apply to, so it might not work on that. And we need 3 to combine those to a higher rarity. There's a purifier, not the right thing. Looks like we won't be able to get another pocket mortar. We can get a purple on that on the next round, so I guess I'll have to sell that since we don't really have the room to finish it now. I can do one more, I guess. Nothing really. Range, so that'll do nothing on the turrets, I think. I guess I can look at the weapon effects as well. Your personal range doesn't actually work on the summons. They seem to have their own unique stats, so that probably doesn't do a ton for anything here. See if we can try to pull that elite through the flamethrower turrets a bit as well for some extra damage. Ooh, invincibility, that'll help with the elites. There's a white pocket mortar, and we could fit it in if I need to. Then there's the other one. And then that actually summons a bronze golem that will taunt enemies, but it takes up so much space. You could fit in 2 turrets plus a 1 slot on top of that. So while it sounds pretty useful, I think we're going to pass on that for the full turret maxing build here. Damage, attack speed, move speed, we'll save that. And then I guess we kind of have a lot of free space right now as we're combining stuff. What are the stats on the summon over there? We can have up to 2 of them. They gain 30% area for each 2 projectile power. Wow, that's kind of nuts. This one has a quantity of 2. Adjacent range items receive 10 range. That sounds kind of useless. I guess you can use that as like a utility item for a standard build that would actually want range. I don't think that does much for a summoner though. Area of effect, 15%. We'll have that on the coil. Range and attack speeds. So 20% quantity won't do anything on that until we reach a certain amount, I think. We can just toss the attack speed over there. And then that would actually be decent on the crossbow for now, since it hits pretty quickly. We could get more barrels. I kind of do like some of the stuff you can get off of those. Projectile power, massive attack speed. That's kind of cool. I think we will take that. Lose a bit of resources, but I think that's fine. Piercing, nope. Another one of those if I want it. Probably not. More barrels. Blue automatic crossbow, I don't think so. We can get some more duration for farming early on, and then luck for higher rarity stuff. That's okay, I don't think so. Anvil, nah. We can get another coil. It's just so hard to bring them up to purple with how much space they take up. I guess we have plenty of room right now. We can try to do that. Another shield, probably fine. Critical chance by 5%. Ooh, attack speed 5%. We could probably combine those? Yeah. Although they're not that bad for right now. Ooh, we can summon some elites on the circle and then grab the immunity and try to burst them down during that. Man, barrels are so good. Another turret. Is there an easy way to have it touch that? You'd probably have to do something with the crossbow. I don't think your personal lifesteal stat transfers to summons, although there are summons that benefit from it. So that would just be dodge chance, I think. Critical chance, it's fine, but I think we'll pass on that for now. A blue coil. We could probably just replace that with it. I don't know if you get your gems back automatically when you sell something. We can keep it down there for now while we do the rerolls. Recovery and dodge actually isn't bad though. Actually wouldn't mind having an extra revive. So that has decent summon power, but the cooldown and vitality aren't the most useful. We might grab some of those later on. I don't think we need them currently. It's actually not bad for onslaught. We can get some of that resource gain back. And we do have one slot open currently. That's a purple purifier launcher. Not bad, but I think we'll pass on that. 10 damage with a chance to apply shock. I guess that would fit in with the coils. Attack speed, crit chance. What are our stats looking like currently? 53 projectile power, 45 armor with the stacking class bonus. Crit chance attack speed is not bad. I think we'll toss some rolls. Ooh, more room and a blue coil. Hopefully we can find one more of those. A red purifier. Guess we should have used those after all, but I don't think I'm going to. A white coil. That'd be pretty hard to use here, I think. Another white coil. We might just have to move stuff around up there to fit that in if we can't find another blue one. More duration if I want that. Blue coil, nice. Another pocket watch, lots of attack speed. We can save that for later. So move speed and attack speed for the summon. Be very good for the coils. You can probably toss that onto that since that probably doesn't do anything currently. Does anyone know if the statues and chests will spawn more? if you get like a really, really long floor duration, or is there like a set amount per floor? Because those things are pretty good for farming gems. It's a purifier, right? Yeah. Summon power, yeah. We can't really get a ton of that here like we could on the necromancer. Ooh, another turret. We could bring those into a purple or just keep them split to have a lot of them out at once. I guess I'll grab it and do a few rerolls, see what I feel like for that. Another one? I guess we'll combine then. So we can have 3 of them at purple. We can get that for the recovery and see if the lifesteal works on summons, which I don't think it does. Duration, cooldown reduction, resource. Takes up a lot of slots though, I don't think so. There is a purple heart, but it also takes up an insane amount of slots. Honestly, I think I might try that. We do have a good amount of slots here. So you want projectile power items adjacent to it to increase the AoE. White coil, probably not. We could get one close to it, maybe. I guess 4% really isn't a lot. Probably not that great then. Crit chance mainly for me. I don't think we really use the other stats. Instantly kill normals, crit damage. Don't think so. Blue turret, we can save that for later. Crit damage, 10% summon power. Does that gain anything from power? It looks like it gains damage. Yeah, just damage from power. Some of them will get like healing or something from it. Did these ones scale their attack speed with power? No, it's based on projectile power. So we can just toss that into whatever. Oh, I guess we could have the on-death chill effect on those guys since they're taunting stuff. Transform into one random character's item. Sounds cool. And it's gone. Can we set it up in a way to have the other turret over there? I think so. I'd have to move that, huh? It's kind of hard to do. Could we shift this side over one? Probably kind of hard to do as well. I guess it wouldn't be touching the coil then? I think I'm not going to put that much effort into it. Blue coil. If we get 2 more of those, that would bring me up to a red for those. I guess we'll lock that and hope to get lucky at some points. A red wand of unlife. Scales with magic power, probably not. More space. We can almost fit that in. I guess I could get rid of one of the One Piece things and then save the slot over there. Actually, that's kind of hard to move stuff around, isn't it? Blue purifier. Ooh, a purple coil. Okay, so I guess we can save that. I don't think I have enough to buy that and combine them. I have like 170 something. And I don't think there's a way to... Oh! The combined 2 I saw on that was from the gem when I right-clicked on it. Yeah, I can't see how much it costs here. I think I probably don't quite have enough. I guess we can sell one of those. Lock that. 5% chance to reset durations. Doesn't sound that good. We could have that in the crossbow for the weapon socket effect though. Just in case that helps. Additional shock damage. We could toss that on to one of the coils if I really cared. Actually, the taunt guys are super nice against the elites, not gonna lie. Just having those purely focus on my golems. So we can now make our first red coil. I don't think I'm going to get any more projectile power for that. 4% is just not a lot for how much space it would take up. Tier 1. We could probably get one of those now. Ooh, purple turrets. No, we lost projectile power, the most important one. Range crit chance? Probably not. These all scale with summon power, right? These gain 150% damage from it. And then those are the most important ones anyways. Get a bunch of resource and XP gain for a small damage loss. Only 2 slots, that's not bad. Blue turret, we can save that. Save the potion. Probably just head out now. Shocking and chilling on death. So he wants that and the clockwork dude. I guess we could have that on one of the purple ballistas. Is there fine on anything? Bunch of automatons out. We are now up to 94 projectile power, 81 armor. Those little boxes in front of those trigger the ballistas, right? I thought those were some of the flamethrower turrets that were underground since they look the same when they go down. So I actually could make a red scorpion turret, but if we can find any of the anvils that upgrade 1 tier, then that would help with getting as many of these out as possible, I think, which would be cooler. So we'll probably hang on to those for a bit. Can that fit that way? No. Another purple purifier. Blue coil. We need one more blue to make a purple on those. I won't really have a ton of space for slotting them in though. Oh, summon power quantity, that's insane. So that'll actually bring us to breakpoints on a lot of the higher tier stuff, which you can't really see that well. So we get a whole extra one on the red galvanizing coil, an extra one on the purple turrets, and the blue ones as well. Okay, that's insane. Wings are pretty nice since we can't really benefit from lifesteal anyways, I think. Don't really have a ton of room right now. Blue turret, definitely want that, so I guess we'll combine these. Then can we still fit that in? I have 8 slots. So if I could move stuff around correctly, then there would be a way to do that. But I'm not sure if I want to mess with that. If we could move that somewhere else, it would be pretty easy. Nah, whatever. I don't really care that much. Nine gold every 10 kills. I guess probably one of the purple turrets that's touching this. Fortunately, they only have one gem slot. Maybe just the red coil then? Then just toss some attack speed into the other coil over here. Okay, we can summon the elites and then grab the invincible thing right away. Although the taunter guys are just wrecking them anyways. Another blue coil. Ooh, a red scorpion turret. We'll definitely want that against the thing. %50 attack speeds when not moving. Does that work on the turrets? That actually would have been pretty good if we built for that from the start. Lots of attack speed, bit of projectile power. Oh, I can have those touching the clockwork for the tiny bit of extra AoE. We can probably fit some of those in, but it's whatever. Oh, there we go. Arcane Anvil. We can use that to get another red Scorpion turret. So those ones can have 6 summon quantity each. And because that's so high, the cooldown does help a bit, so you can get them out faster. Ooh, another one. We do lower resource gain quite a bit, but it's still positive. Armor Vitality. It's not bad for survivability. Attack speed 78. We can probably do that for survivability then. The Punisher. I don't want to consume my meta progression. We need those. Tier 1, Tier 2. We need one more Tier 2 to combine those. I think. Yeah, just that one. I guess we could probably get rid of the mortar now. We have enough turrets that it's not super necessary. How can I make stuff easier to fit in here? And then if I can move that, we can fit one in there, I think. No, we need the other direction. No blue coil, so we'll probably have to sell that. Yeah, kind of hard to find those, it seems like. I guess we only really need one for the buffing effects. Attack speed into cooldown reduction. I feel like that's probably a downside. Shocking. Toss that on whatever. Range, not great. Do I still have the ballista? Yeah, the crossbow, I mean. We can get rid of that at some point as well. Do I even have any slots left? Oh, that thing has empty stuff. Right, we should have an insane amount of ballista turrets now. So with all of these, we're at 120 projectile power, 111 armor, which scales up all of those shields quite a bit. more summon power. Another purple purifier. And another one. Oops. No, I lost projectile power again. Why? Blue turrets. We can make a purple off of that and have 3 purples. Probably save those in case we get another anvil to upgrade them and get as many as possible. Big attack speeds. Red bone golem. Nah. Tier 3 hearts. I would imagine that's 2, right? Yeah. So we can do that to get a red one. Kind of expensive to combine them though. We can have up to 3 of those now. Experience and projectile power. That's not bad for only 2 slots. Blue coil, blue turret. I definitely want that. We probably could fit that in. Although I'm out of gold, so it doesn't even matter. Ooh, summon lifesteal. Attack speed to cooldown, attack speed. So we'll want that on something that hits a lot. Probably a red turret that would also have attack speed. So those have 10%. Shocking. 20%. Let's have that on there so we can have maximum lifesteal that's ever needed. Wait, that's a 30%. Just combine those 2. Oh, I don't even have the money. Guess we can toss one in there, doesn't really matter too much. Oh, we actually can use that as the unsocketed summon power thing at some points. I think I only have 1 summon power thing currently. We can toss it over there 1 slot, get a bit of extra power off that, not bad. I don't really use the unsocketed gems as much as I should, since some of them have really weird patterns. It just makes the inventory management even more painful in the game. But some of them are honestly pretty powerful. Blue is the lowest turret. That's not bad. The range isn't super useful, but the projectile power is decent. 40 range. That doesn't really help me, but it actually combines well with another red passive item where you gain permanent stats on killing elites, so I might take it just for that. And then it also seems like elites were sometimes dropping like gems and other useful stuff. So I don't think we need the range, but the extra elite spawn could be useful. Another blue turret. Oh, a repair tower. Takes up like 2x4, kind of hard to fit in, but I would like to try one of those. Another red heart, but those take up so much room. We could probably sell a couple barrel things and a couple floor length things. Maybe fit in the turret for now and then get that later on. So, lifesteal doesn't really do a lot for me. That might actually be kind of a downside here, I think. Although, that would probably cancel it out. But nah. 20% to apply plague. Guess we'll just toss that in something random. I think I still have the starting crossbow. I can definitely get rid of that now. So if we do that and move the shield, that easily fits over there. I'm curious, does this return the gems automatically? No. Okay, good to know. Red repair tower. Kind of hard to get that up to 2 summon quantity. If we have any recovery items, I think I have 1 or 2. There's like a cube thing, right? Yeah, that thing. So we can have that next to that for a bit of a boost. And then that will make our shields recharge a bit faster. I lost projectile power again. A blue coil, that brings us up to a purple. We can get huge XP gain, a little bit of projectile power. Oh, those could be touching that thing as well. I guess it's 5% AoE, not really a big deal. We already have 4 on it. I don't really need that thing though. Big XP and resource, sure. Dodge and attack speed, yeah, we do have plenty of armor. It's pretty good actually. Purple coil, we would need one more to get another red. Another red repair tower. I think I'm fine with just trying out the one of those. Another purple purifier. Blue crossbow, we can turn that into a purple. Does position matter in those? I don't think so. Unless we try to make a red over there, but I'll wait a bit on that. Another red hearts. Apply burn, scaling with summon power if you have it in a summon item. Okay, that's pretty cool. We could have that on pretty much anything, I guess. Other than the repair tower. The healing and the area on that scales with projectile power, interesting. We have another chill thing, we can toss that on the taunters. I guess we could just have that buff that thing for even more summon power. 20% summon power. It's probably fine for basically anything. Attack speed to cooldown. I guess you could have that on the turrets or the repair tower. I wonder if attack speed affects how often the heal triggers. Shock, attack speed, range. They definitely pulse very quickly. Yeah, I don't think the summon duration on that really does a ton. Probably better to just get the Necromancer thing for a tiny bit of extra summon quantity, even though you're not getting that much magic power. Pocket Watch, Tier 1 Coil. Ooh, Book of Friends. 10% quantity for each adjacent summon item. So once it finds the best way to have a lot of those touching it. And then that gives you magic power for the Necromancer thing as well. So the Ballistas will be easy to have a lot touching that, I think. need some more over there. I currently have 3, I think. Yeah. And I should be able to do more than that somehow. So 40%, and I think we can squeeze out another 1 or 2 if I can optimize it somehow. But that's not bad for now. We need a bit more to go up to 4 on that. Those are at 7.6, so a bit more would get an extra 1 on each of those. You know, it might be better to just sell that thing. I don't feel like summon duration really does all that much. I guess it's not bad as you get your quantity super high. We can expand that a bit. I can have that just touching it with 1 square, and then we can maybe squeeze 1 in there. And then eventually, if we rearrange that, maybe 1 over there. If I move that, I can have another recovery boosted thing over there for very fast shield cooldowns. More summon power on that. Purple turret. Ooh, double crits. That's pretty nice. I think we'll probably lock that so that I can keep some free space to make it easier to rearrange to maximize the book on the next shop, I guess. We'll do a few more, but probably hold most of it so that I don't waste too much when something is locked. Move speed is -10, so that's not bad. That brings it down to -20 as well. So we actually got some pretty huge damage here. 40% attack speed for that 1 summon, that's pretty nice. Then we'll hold some slots and probably sell some of the greedy stuff like barrels and lore duration so that we have a lot of room, and we'll try to maximize that summon quantity thing so we get an absolutely insane amount of turrets. Oh, I can trigger the elite over here and then grab the immortality. And they just die instantly with all those summons anyways. Oh yeah, we should take a look at the stats since we have a lot more quantity now. 131 power, 106 armor. Some of them are a bit spread out right now though. Check right towards the end of this one. 131 and 106. So we want to get as many scorpion turrets on this thing as possible. And then if we move this area around a bit, I can probably squeeze one more in there at some point, which would bring it up to 60%. And then I might be able to do something over here to squeeze one more in over there as well at some point. Pocket watches are fun. We don't really need that. Oh, and we get extra value out of them with that also. That's pretty cool. I don't think we really need that. Blue coil. Probably just wait for a purple to finish those off, I guess. That'd be the easiest thing to do. Those are actually pretty good with all the armor I'll have in combat. Kinda just wanna be sparing with that stuff so that we can try to maximize the Book of Friends at some point. Did the 50% do anything? That brought us up to 4 there and 8 there. Okay, that was a pretty big breakpoint. So I think we can maximize that to 70%, but it might not actually hit any breakpoints if we do that. We already hit a pretty big one there, bringing everything up to one more, it looks like. Another turret, definitely wants that. I guess we'll probably just sell a barrel thing to make it a bit easier. Oh, that would be kind of cool too. 23% dodge chance. Another blue turret. Oh, there's the elite thing. We do need to get that for the stacking armor and damage. I can probably get rid of all of the floor duration, although I'm not sure we can really move stuff into position to use those up since they're kind of off on their own anyways. So that probably didn't do a whole lot. Could have a barrel thing there. I might just sell 2 barrel things. They're still very good. They just kind of make it hard to fit other stuff. Then we need to move a bunch of stuff for that. I guess we can just lock that, do a couple more rolls and then wait for later. And we probably could combine some of the purple since I'm not really seeing any of the anvils and we have a bunch of them anyways. It's most important they touch that though. Blue coil. Pocket watch is very good now. That would be good for buffing those. What's the pattern on that? If we could have it a bit above them, does that work? So 17 recovery on each of those. Kind of hard to use. Summon units damaged by 40%, that's good. For something. Generate health? Not the greatest. Summon power 20% is fine. I don't really care that much about the small ones, we'll combine those later. And then we just want to get the biggest bonuses possible from the class here and just absolutely nuke him. Can I even open the chest now? Oops. Goodbye, chest. Can I get it if I go in here? Nope. We didn't even get any levels because he died so fast. So with probably all the summons up, we're at 146 power, 135 armor. Another attack speed proj power. We could probably fit it somewhere over there. Maybe. Can I move that thing? So now we should be able to fit one more onto that, up to 60%. Then I can maybe squeeze one in over there somehow at some point. 60% summon quantity, we can upgrade one of our ballistas up to red with that. Oh, actually, slightly more AoE. Another turret. We have 3 blues, so I guess we could combine those. So we would gain a bit of crit chance, lose movement speed, which would give like dodge and something else? Dodge, attack speed, range. I guess that's fine. Oh, I guess the pocket watches are just better than that though. Ooh, a red turret. How can I fit that in? I'm not sure. If we could move those two, then I think that would work. If Fortunately, that would lower the bonus over there a bit. Probably get rid of a shield. Vitality gain per floor recovery, that's pretty sick. Could we move that a bit? Those are good. I don't really need them that much. We're kind of OP now anyways. Huge attack speed, loosen lifesteal, not bad. We probably could use that. I'll eventually get pretty good dodge. I don't know if I want to grab it now though. Probably would take that now though. Pocket watches are pretty good. We could probably drop a dragonfly wing or one. And I think we're going to pause the run and maybe come back to this later and do a bit more of infinite mode, since this build is pretty fun and pretty OP. It seems pretty junk. We can toss a bunch of those into the hearts thing. Just have them do a massive cold nuke whenever they die. Oh, how much did the gold thing do? 1.2k, not bad. But yeah, you can actually go to the main menu and resume this later on, I think. So we'll just do that for the build, I hope. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.